Why is there a potato on the table?
You'll have to wait and see.
Oh,
It'll be a reveal.
All right, well, welcome everyone to the female kaiju in the Godzilla universe. So happy you all are here. It's Sunday. I know everybody's ready to go home. Take out your customary Red Bulls, and we'll get started with our wonderful panel. I am not Marcia Middleton, but she has prepared a statement that I would like to read for you today. When he was a young boy, I happily introduced my son Richard to the incredible Godzilla universe. Together, we watched the films, read the books and comics, and played with the toys. Richard grew to adore the Kaiju King. For one birthday celebration, I created a New York skyline cake for Godzilla's threatening destruction, stomping through flaming birthday candles. Richard saved the city with his mighty birthday wish, blow, and, well, he was 9 or 10, right? Yeah, I would think so. No, he was 25. Sadly, Richard passed away in 2020, and he was gone way too soon. But he's still with us. He would be right here, probably moderating the panel, because he'd do a lot better job than I would, helping bring the fun to you. He had a special place in his heart for Mothra and her tiny fairy twins. It sparkled my idea for producing today's program. Marcia goes on to say, so please allow me to dedicate our panel, Female Kaiju in the Godzilla Universe, to my son, Richard Johnson. Have a roaring good time with our wonderfully talented panelists. I thank you, San Diego Comic-Con, and thank each and every one of you for being here today. Marcia Middleton. Marcia and I have been doing panels here for many years now. She's given me the opportunity to come on this stage and given me the outlet to talk to each one of you, making you have to listen to all of my thoughts and everything. But I want to introduce myself. My name is Justin Toney. I am the curator of the website fandomappearances.com and the host of the Weekend Geeks. We're on YouTube. And for your pleasure, I have a QR code where this very panel will be available for you to rewatch in all of its glory. If you want to share, like, subscribe, tell a friend, call grandma, whatever you got to do, we'd love for you to be a part of it. And next, I'd like to introduce my wonderfully esteemed panelists who are going to talk to you all about today's adventure. And I'm going to allow each one of them to introduce themselves and tell you their favorite pizza while they're talking about themselves.
Easy question. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Chelsea Cruz. Hello. I'm a writer and a comedian in Los Angeles. My favorite pizza is pepperoni. Yeah, let's get it for pepperoni. Come on, let's go.
This is bad because I'm going to get boos and hisses. But
why? Why boos and hisses?
You'll see. I'm the Reverend Dr. Russell Dalton. You can call me Russ. And I'm a professor at Brite Divinity School on the campus of Texas Christian University. It's a diverse, inclusive, and progressive divinity school, which is kind of rare in Texas, but I enjoy being there. And my favorite pizza, Hawaiian pizza.
Hawaiian fan.
All right. I knew I'd get something.
I'm Eva St. Clair. I'm the co-founder and the chief creative officer at Princess Awesome, which is a clothing store that makes clothes that reflect people's interests, like Kaiju. And my favorite pizza is mushroom. Just put all the mushrooms on it. Second favorite.
My name's Owen Cotter. I host scifiction.com, all sci-fi, pop culture, a little bit of everything, anime, video games, you name it. Happy to be here on this panel with this lovely variety of panelists. Hope you're having a good time on the last day of San Diego Comic-Con 2025. And my favorite pizza is Supreme.
Supreme.
Oh, that's it. All right. Supreme pizza is the best pizza, by the way.
This
Some
is
people
actually
say
a
that.
pizza debate instead. I'm sorry you went to the wrong panel.
So, before we get really into this, I have something that has really bothered me for the many years that I've been watching Godzilla. There's one thing that every time I watch it, I say, something is missing in life. And I watched Godzilla -1, which was a great film. If you have not had an opportunity to see it, you must go. The cinematic, everything about it is great. The cinematography, the audio, the dialogue. Even though it was in Japanese, you could still understand every bit of the film. But that's not why we're here. So I'm watching it, and I had a thought. He's missing something, right? And to me, he's very aggressive in his thought, kind of crazy. So I thought, well, you know what? Buddy needs a hat. And so I've commissioned a shirt that I'm happy to show that says Buddy needs a hat. I mean, come on now. He goes from Godzilla to the friendly neighborhood Godzilla. Like you want to be your friend and you want to hug him and have him embrace you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So I thought that was something that needed to be added, that Godzilla needed to be nice and friendly. Now we're going to continue because, yeah. My wonderful panelists have sent a nice box which showcases all the different kaijus that are out there. And there were some discussions about where they belong and how they fit. So I want all my panelists to discuss that a little bit and where they fit in with the universe. Especially, well, we got a lot of people, a lot of ones here that kind of fall into many categories.
Right. I did this in preparation for the panel because I first wanted to see how many female kaiju there are, but more which ones are clearly identified by one gender, one sex or the other, and which of them where we can definitely find more like two, where they're dimorphic and you know they're dimorphic. So in the unclear sex, possibly no sex, we have the vast majority. And most of these are actually referred to as male somewhere along the line. So the default for them is they're probably male. Then there's the ones that are, who knows what they are, like Mechagodzilla. Does that count as male or female? It's based on Godzilla. It's got Godzilla's bones at one point. Like, what is it? Not sure. So there they are in there. And then there's like the skull crawlers. The cerebrum, we know there's more than, they're probably dimorphic. I don't know. And then you get into where there's clear instances of both a male and a female, and you can tell them apart. So that's like Titan, and Manda is occasionally female, but usually male. So that tells me there's got to be more than one of them somewhere. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. And then, of course, Muto, we have a clear example of a male and a female. And the whole Megalon Megagyros thing is male and female. And then the ones that are definitely female are, of course, Titan, once it's merged. Gojiren, who is pink, so of course it's female. Shimo, who is, Elsa Dragon Princess, so she's a girl. Mothra, obviously. And then Abathur, which is this funky spider thing that's also sort of female, reproduces asexually, so not super sure about that. Then, of course, Megagyros and Biolante, who is kind of the reincarnated female daughter of the scientist mixed with Godzilla. Like, that is a really weird kind of plot, but we'll get into that later. And she's definitely female.
And we'll talk about another one that's kind of iffy, and we had a back and forth about should it be included in the presentation or not, and we'll discuss that later.
And if I might chime in,
Sure.
One of the problems with identifying gender in the earlier the Japanese movies, is in Japanese, pronouns are different. You can go a whole novel and there not be a use of a pronoun. And that gets lost in some of the American dubbing, and sometimes they misgender people or you see it going back and forth, right? So that's what makes it interesting in identifying
Even the
gender.
translation of Godzilla's original name, correct?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the space Godzilla was actually the spores from Belante went to space, merged with Godzilla's DNA, and thus we get Space Godzilla, supposedly. So that's probably pretty cool. We don't know what's probably Space Godzilla, whatever he is or she is, it's Space Godzilla.
Space Godzilla.
Right. And then so this second slide, I was trying to dig down into how we know it's female, how we know it's, like, does it have a counterpart? So it helps to differentiate the females from the males if there's a counterpart. Like, that there is, a second, a dimorphic version of that other kaiju. So like Titan, we know that there's two. It's a reptile form. And interestingly with this one, I thought, because a lot of the females are portrayed as non-aggressive and harmless, is that this Titanosaurus, if you remember, is one of the mind control ones. So as soon as they release her from mind control, she's like, I'm gonna go live my best life. And off she goes. And we never see her again. Then Gojira is obviously, like the juvenile, cutesy Godzilla girl. Lovely. Shimo, you can definitely identify as a girl because she's a damsel in distress, and you would never write that subplot if she were male. Manda, usually male. Again, we'll go into that in a minute. Then there's Muto, which has the male and female form. And the rest of these, I think, are interesting because with Muto, she's female and she's necessary to the plot because she reproduces. And females who reproduce, that's where you definitely know that they're female. Like Mothra has the same thing. She also obviously reproduces and lays eggs, so she's clearly female. And then there's Batra as her counterpart, and we never see him again after he gets eliminated, which is too bad. But like, is he the father of the Mothra eggs, or is she cloning them? Is she reproducing asexually? We don't know. So those are all interesting questions we can get into. Mega Gyros, same thing. Like, she's the reproductive insect queen, so we know that's what she's up to. Talked about Abathar already. Biolante, so interesting because she starts out as this immobile, depressed girl who can't get over herself. And then she turns into Godzilla, and suddenly she's exhibiting more of these male characteristics and starts to be identified as a male. So that's just some of the things that I noticed as I was starting to work on, preparing for the panel.
So in our discussion of the female Titans, the heroes of the story, we're going to each take one specific and get details about their life, their history, who they are, why they are important to Godzilla, and if they're going to win in the fight. So we've broken down, each person has one, and I believe Russell's going to be first, correct?
Okay, sure. Well, as a divinity school professor, it makes sense that I would talk about Mothra, the goddess of Infant Island, where the residents worship her. I love Mothra. I met someone here before the panel. Tony loves Mothra too. Do you want to stand up and show people your outfit?
Oh, come on.
That's beautiful. Very cool. So I love Mothra. And Mothra, as I say, is worshipped and even has these two tiny fairy princesses, these priestesses, I should say. And so for the next slide here, there's Mothra. That's the actual sound.
That's what she sounds like.
Yeah. So, we get these two tiny princesses who are kidnapped from Infant Island by greedy members of the Roshika military. Now, did you catch that name when you saw Mothra? It's, if you know the timing of it, this is a combination, not so subtle, of Russia and America, because that's what Japan was after all of these nuclear power, Cold War, very afraid of that. And these tiny princesses serve to represent the vulnerability and the beauty of nature and humanity, which is threatened by military power and unchecked capitalism. The priestesses are played by the hit Japanese musical act, The Peanuts, identical twin sisters who released over 25 albums. They're credited as a big part of the success of the film Mothra. People just wanted to see more of the Peanuts.
And what specific film?
Mothra, and then they were also in Mothra versus Godzilla, and had songs in each of them. And that song was very popular. And you might know it. Americans sometimes know it. If you know it, sing it with me, and you'll sing better than I do. Mothra, yeah, Mothra, okay, no one else is singing. I'll leave it there.
We just wanted you to have a solo. That's it.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Okay, so next.
If we would have had the panel on maybe Thursday, we would have participants to see.
Okay. So next I have a slide here with Mothra, goes through these forms. Mothra hatches from an egg, but then is a larva form. You can look back over here. And then, weaves a cocoon and transforms
It's really a potato.
into the, into her final form, imago form of a moth. Now, interestingly, in the novel, The Luminous Fairies and Mothra, on which the movie Mothra was based, served as the basis for the film, Mothra's larvae form was referred to as male by whoever was writing it, and then her imago moth form was referred to as female. This has led some people to refer to Mothra as the first trans or gender fluid kaiju, while others just see it as a problem with the translation, right? Well, Mothra's first appearance in the 1961 film Mothra was quite a hit in Japan. Mothra has gone on to appear in at least 16 films, 4 solo films, and at least 7 of the films with her name in the title. And she's currently starring in her first U.S. comic book series by IDW Publishing, Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. You'll see a cover from that later. So here we have the posters for that second film she appeared in. It was such a big hit that they titled her second film Mothra versus Godzilla in 1964. Notice, giving Mothra top billing over Godzilla, right? Because she was beloved. But American studios didn't quite get it.
The movie was very campy, though.
There's a lot to it.
It's awesome.
That movie is great.
That movie's the boss. It's just, the Americans didn't quite understand the love of a giant moth goddess of nature and who defends the balance of nature. So while the Americans knew that Mothra versus Godzilla was a hit in Japan, when they released it here in the US, they retitled it Godzilla versus the Thing, and did not even put her picture on the movie posters. How rude. Why didn't the US executives understand Mothra? Well, Mothra is an insect, and she's not about destruction or progress, but about restoring the balance of nature. And to understand this, with the next slide, we need to understand her usual pattern is this in the films, and just throughout the films. She hatches or wakes up. She does some good, helping people, sometimes forgives humans for destroying nature or harming her people. And then she helps bring good kaiju together to restore balance to nature, and then sacrifices herself very often by fighting a more powerful opponent she knows she can't beat in a way that helps others. She dies, and then a new Mothra hatches from an egg and is, in essence, reborn. Now, many Christians see a Christ image in this with the death and resurrection, but it's important to understand this is Japanese, and Ishiro Honda, who is the director and co-screenwriter of all of the early Godzilla movies and all the Mothra films, his father was a Buddhist priest, and one of the primary, if not the primary religion in Japan is Buddhism. So we can understand here why Japanese children were not unnerved by Mothra dying and not seeing that as unheroic. So forgive me for this way oversimplification of the principle here. In Buddhism, samsara refers to the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Life moves from birth to death to rebirth and so on, with suffering along the way. So in Buddhism, this rebirth, it's important to note, is not reincarnation, the way we think of other Eastern religions' views of reincarnation. There's no soul to continue on. As a matter of fact, a key principle in Buddhism is the no self. You seek no self until you are liberated from suffering and reach nirvana and release from this life. But your essence and memory can continue on in this rebirth. So Mothra's essence, even with Mothra Leo, right, continues on, even though it's not Mothra identical, rising again. And Japanese audience would understand that and respect it and find some spiritual meaning of that. So, Mothra is also called a guardian of the earth as she strives to restore the balance to nature that we humans often throw out of whack. This is a theme that resonates with Japanese spirituality and culture, which is not surprising given their history, from atomic bombs, from all sorts of different things. The films are often a cautionary tale about the dangers of scientific progress in the pursuit of military might or wealth that threatens nature. So when nature or her people are threatened by nuclear power or risky scientific ventures, Mothra takes action. That cause of defending nature is one that has been taken up by many feminist and womanist pastors, rabbis, and other women of faith who I know personally. So Mothra has some excellent sisters to help her in that struggle, as well as people who are not clergy of any kind, right? So now the portrayal of women in Mothra's films are not always the best models of feminine empowerment, if you really look at it, especially under the directions in the millennial phase of a prime minister who wanted Japanese films to depict women in more traditional gender roles. But I think Mothra offers a good image for us.
All right. Well, I've learned now more about Mothra than I think I've ever wanted to know, possibly. But I feel so enlightened by the subject. I appreciate your discussion on that.
And I'll just say very briefly, I know I got to go, just a final note, it might have been the previous slide. In the real world, moths, which are a key to the ecosystem and pollination, the world, and is food for birds and bats, the moth population is declining, like we hear about that with bees. And it's vanishing due to vanishing habitat, pesticides, and climate change. So it's sadly ironic that Mothra, this defender of the balance of nature, we're losing it, and we're losing moths. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we go from the hero of the kaiju to this scary-looking thing.
We go to the plant of the kaiju.
Yes. Please.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk to you about Biollante. Look at her. Look at her. She's great. So we discussed it earlier. Biollante is the kind of daughter of Dr. Shiragami. Erica passes away in the beginning of the first movie, which is Godzilla versus Biollante. She passed away. Her cells get merged with Godzilla's and also a rose. I don't have, it was hard to top that. I was like, I don't have the spiritualness to talk about Biollante. Basically, Biollante's powers include having radioactive sap, tendrils, basically like Vine Whip, I say like Entangle, the D&D roll move, and telepathy. She can actually sense when Godzilla's near. She also got acid and strength, as well as her weaknesses being, obviously as a plant, her weaknesses is heat rays and fire and electricity. I was asked before if she's a foe of Godzilla. Yes, she's a foe. But yeah, as it ends, Biollante versus Godzilla, it starts out with her first form. It's a rose with teeth. I don't know if we have a slide of that, but then this is the last form. And in the last part of the movie, she gets defeated by Godzilla, and then I don't know how to explain her cells or her flakes, her spores. Spores, thank you. Her spores go out into space.
Thus, Space Godzilla.
Thus, Space Godzilla. She built Space Godzilla's shoulder pads. That's what happened. My thoughts on Biollante is just generally like, I love her. She's a plant, Godzilla, and a daughter. That's me. That's all of who I am. I also think maybe sometimes this could be the inspiration for Little Shop of Horrors. If you see the original version, it's a plant with teeth.
I mean, look at it. It's like it's going to eat you.
Yeah.
This is in my nightmare.
It's great. And it's, the movie itself is like it's an interesting take on grief, right? We have a lot of movies that deal with mad scientists who lose a kid or mad scientists who lose a wife. Look at Mr. Freeze. It's almost that kind of thing, right? You're doing what you can to rebuild who you have lost. It's a sad story about loss.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have Avatar coming up next.
This one is called, I watched this film last night. This is the one with the submarines, I believe. If I can get that right. The underwater one, right, Justin? You seen this film?
I've watched so many of them. They all,
know, right?
they're doing this right now in my brain because
This
it's
one
Sunday.
actually is not. What does that say? Is on my reading glasses. I'm not gonna lie about that.
This is
Avatar?
Avatar. So this one's another kaiju. So it has an A as well. First, I started talking about this. I watched another film. There's another female kaiju that no one, I think, has talked about yet. A film called Atragon. I believe I got that spelled right. So before I get into this one, this film I thought was really fascinating because it is not predominantly featuring the kaiju as much as the other characters. When they go down, there's a civilization called the Mu Empire. They go underwater. This thing's kind of like down there, featured in some of the other Godzilla films, and it gets frozen and everything else. But I thought it was interesting because it's not a predominantly featured kaiju in the Godzilla universe as much as Godzilla. I thought it was really interesting. This creature is horrifying. It's created by all the radiation and all the awesome goodness. I don't know as much about this one as I do some of the other ones that are featured here on the panel, as the other ones I'm going to be featuring as well down the road. But this thing's horrifying. I wouldn't want to run into that in the streets or anything like that. That's all I'm going to say on that.
What makes it horrifying?
Just this creature here on your screen.
Well, what about it makes it horrifying to you?
I don't know, the look of it, just the greenness of it, just all in between and all that it is. But it's a kaiju nonetheless.
I like her. I think she's pretty.
I mean, it might be nice.
has her
We have a
nails
good
done.
conversation.
So Chelsea's all about the horror.
I love this one.
All right, we're going to move on to this thing.
Yes, this thing. When I first saw this, it reminded me very much of the Munchkin card. Is this the monster that the DM made up herself? Which I think indeed it is. It is kind of a combination of an insect and a reptile. That's not an exoskeleton. They swear that there's musculature underneath the skin, and it actually has thick leather armor. And it's strong enough to withstand Godzilla's breath, which is pretty impressive. The interior of it, though, is not armored, which we find out when Godzilla breathes breath right down her throat and decapitates her. So
It
bad.
has a soft heart.
A very soft heart, yes.
Okay.
She has this flat top that extends to the back and like into the middle of her back, which makes her look like a cockroach, and that just like gives me all the heebie-jeebies. Cannot stand like looking. Oh gosh, cockroaches.
Horrifying.
Yes.
We won't show a picture of
right
a roach.
there, yeah. And she walks on these 6 super long legs, and they're actually turned down at the bottom, like she's walking on a knuckle. It reminds me of an anteater, the way they walk with their claws turned under. She has an additional set of these funky short appendages that are under her abdomen, which we're not super sure what they do, because she doesn't really use them in the movies very much. We think that they're for like grasping things, because she does kind of use them to hold onto the warhead, to put the eggs around it. So I guess they're just an extra set of hands, like moms need extra sets of hands. We do. She has this beaky jaw that can open a little bit, like a mandible, and she's got all these sharp teeth. So what are the teeth for? Like, they eat nuclear radiation, they don't need teeth. I don't understand. Whatever, she's got teeth. The thing that makes her very interesting to me, though, is the way the eyes are made. If you look at it close up, the eye is not just like a round dot, like all eyes are, but a long Geordie LaForge visor kind of thing. Like, so I think that means she must have these extra senses here, which let her see in multiple directions. So to me, whoever designed this really thought, yeah, that's a mom. She can see in multiple directions. She's got extra hands, like pretty great. She's also enormous. She's as big as Godzilla, twice as big as her male counterpart. Am I taking up too much time, Justin? Is that you like telling me to stop?
Is that the light?
Yeah.
Go faster, yeah.
So we're doing good, but we
need to move along.
Yes.
Okay. So the other way we know she's female is she's got the eggs. And as Muto Prime, this part's really weird. She can become an asexually reproducing larger version of herself, but asexual reproduction in the animal world means that it's a clone. So when you put the eggs out, they're all the same and they're all clones of the adult. But that's not what happens, because the two Muto in the film that they're in, their main film, One's a male and one's a female. So how that works, I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it in a new film because I really would love to understand about that. The other thing about this particular creature is that she doesn't actually have a name. Muto means massive unidentified terrestrial organism. I really want her to have a name. I think she deserves one because she's huge and awesome. I suggest something that starts with Ari, which means ant in Japanese, and maybe some combination of the words like beast or reptile would be kind of cool. Like, I think something that's as awesome as she is really should have a real name so we can be super fans, because eventually they're gonna add another Muto. That's not her. And then she won't have, like, she'll just be, Muto 1 or whatever, which is kind of sad.
All right. Hello. Again, it's me. How many of you guys have seen Godzilla Kong? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Tiamat is the sea dragon in Godzilla Kong. I believe it's the New Empire. Female. She has a nest. To be honest, her purpose in the movie was to die and give Godzilla more power. That's pretty messed up, but look at her. She does speed, constriction. There are other sea dragons. You can get to the next slide. There are other sea dragons in the Godzilla universe. There's Manda, who was originally in the Abathor, movies. Manda is a male, but there are people who write fan fiction of Manda as like a queen of the seas. But yeah, there are 2 sea dragons. They're constricting. As you can tell in Tiamat would die because Godzilla could rip her apart. Manda, I think that there's more in like the newer IDW where Manda can take down Godzilla by constriction. There
And
it
the
is.
IDW.
This is the IDW Rulers of the Earth. It's really good. You guys should go pick it up. This is not a show for IDW. I just like IDW.
And they're on the show floor, right? If you want to.
Oh, yeah. You could check them out downstairs.
I'm amazed at how much. I know we're celebrating 70 years of Godzilla, but there's so much on the floor this year. And then there's Super 7 that has an offsite. So if you love Godzilla, this
It's
is your
Sunday.
year.
If you guys still have money, you can go downstairs. I know a place specifically where you can lose your money.
Even the coins that they were giving out were awesome. Yeah. So I think Owen has this next one, which, Owen?
It's ice cold, Shimo. It's awesome. And Godzilla New Empire. It's an interesting character from a standpoint that it's kind of used as a villain, a minion of sorts, captured by the Scar King. And then it gets freed. It can freeze, has some powers, has some goodness. And when Godzilla battles Kong, it's there. It's trying to help him use like a henchman to get it. And then when it's freed, there you go. It's back to awesome. I like that movie. I thought it was really cool that not just the Godzilla versus Kong, but the fact you had a whole other race of Kongs, and some of those were female as well, as the use of the Scar King keeping the Shimo in prison. Once it was freed, it's an interesting film. They're going to make a third one. Looking forward to that. Basically, all to say that it can freeze, so it's pretty cool. A lot of creatures in the Kaiju universe do that. So.
And you selected a video that we're going to watch.
Yes. Ice cold awesomeness.
What's one thing about that kaiju that you particularly care for? Is it the breath? I mean, what is it?
Yeah, it's just a cool looking kaiju. You can ride it. You can it freezes stuff. It looks dope when it powers up, kind of like Godzilla. It's just
She's about to tear it up. I mean, that's just.
She's just awesome. Yeah, it's amazing.
She does give King Kong frostbite.
Yeah. See, there you go.
That's why he has the power fist at the end.
All right, so we have to go on to our next one, and because we still have a couple more to share with you, right? Mm-hmm. This thing.
Megagyrus, yes. Mothra and Megagyrus are both female insect kaiju, but while Mothra, in my humble opinion, is the most beautiful of all kaiju, both inside and out, Megagyrus is the ugliest one, if I can say that, both inside and out. While Mothra is about bringing peace and balance to nature, Megagyrus is about power, control, and destruction. So Megagyrus first appeared in Godzilla vs. Megagyrus from the year 2000. Now this film actually does, it's not a great film, but it actually does have a bit of a feminist message because the lead scientist and the hotshot action hero are both female, right? I mean, the female major even climbs upon Godzilla's fins, famously or infamously, depending on who you ask, and puts a tracking device on it.
And isn't there something being released?
Yeah. So we'll jump into this. Was just last week, the IDW series, Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. In the last panel revealed this. This is actually the cover of the next issue. We thought that this was like the queen, the final imago form of Megagyrus, but they revealed in the comic book, oh, Megagyrus. Oh, no. Okay, we'll have to read on.
It's not Godzilla, but it is Godzilla, right?
Again, another shout out to IDW.
Yeah.
If IDW can hear me right now, I can work for them.
So we're gonna move along because I want to get to. There's so much more to cover in this, and I have to show you this darling Gojiren.
Oh.
She's the resident of Monster Island, living there with many young kaiju. She resembles a normal Godzilla, although her skin is pink for an unknown reason, and her spine is curved, somewhat like little hearts. Aww. And for a long time, she's believed to be the last of its kind. This was until the first female Godzilla in recorded history appeared, and Godzilla came out of nowhere. Whenever I was researching and watching this character, I have learned so many wonderful things, and part of my discovery was the learning of addition and subtraction. I kid you not, because of this.
Oh, yeah.
Godzilla's making pancakes. And because I had to learn about addition and subtraction, I want you too to learn this song with me, because it is now in my head.
覚えようハッシュタグ僕らはハッシュタグ大好きさやってごらん覚えよう
So let's remember to learn our addition and subtraction, and 1 + 1 is 2, and so on. Yeah. It's a very cute little series. You can find it on YouTube. I'll put a link to the original in our video whenever we do release it. But she's just the cutest little thing. She's Godzilla's love of his life. Godzilla brings her little flowers and fruits and things, and even if it's from her garden, he still takes it and brings it to her. One more crazy thing I have to show you is what Marcia wanted us to really talk about today, and it is this.
We're safe! All right! What could she want? Unless Godzilla finds something to appease her, we're doomed!
We got to have fun with it, folks. We got to. Can anybody tell me what the name of that character is? You raise your hot hands and tell me what. Anybody know? Anybody know? Does anybody want to try? Anybody?
It's not Dr. Pepperzilla. I
Promise you.
I promise it's not it.
No one? Oh my gosh. We have any kids here? Her name is we have somebody. Say it. It's something newer kind of feeling to it. Come on, I know it's Sunday. I have a Dr. Pepper for anybody that can name it.
Tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper.
If all the hands shot up for Dr. Pepper, I would have laughed.
I would have, yeah. It's Newzilla. Come on.
That's why I said Dr. Pepperzilla. It could have been.
And I brought 2 Dr. Peppers because I thought maybe there might be somebody that would get it, and then I give them a 20 ounce, and then I have a can Coke for anybody else who doesn't. So I'll give it to any kid that wants it because I don't want to drink Dr. Pepper at home because we're Mr. Pibb kind of have.
Do you have a Tab Cola too? 'Cause I think they stopped printing those, right?
No tab.
I didn't know I was supposed to bring Baja Blast here.
Oh, gosh. That's the next discussion. So we do have some fashion to showcase today.
Yes, so I will read you a quote from one of our all-time favorites, Jurassic Park. I read this when I was 12, and I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. So, it takes some kind of added effect, such as a hormone, to the right moment during development to transform the growing embryo into a male, but left to its own devices, the embryo will naturally become female. So our animals are all female. We tend to refer to some of them as male, such as the Tyrannosaurus rex. We all call it a him, but in fact, they're all female. Okay. So when I read that when I was 12, I was like, that is dumb. Why wouldn't you call a thing if you know that it's that thing? But now that I am old, I am past 40, I've realized that it's actually brilliant. Because what it says is your perception of what it is actually more important than what it is. And that's what I did with my dress. So whether or not you think they're male or female, it's up to you.
That's awesome.
We got Mothra.
Then I have to come around and run.
And she's going to come around and show. And there is a discount available right now if you want to buy from her website.
Work.
Actually, you can shut the slides and then
Work.
You got all the goodness.
Woo! Woo!
Yes, please go to our website, princess-awesome.com. What a wonderful.
One more time. Let's come on. Let's go. It's Sunday. One more time.
I never look that good in anything, so thank you so much for showing that. And again, the website, princess-awesome.com, promo code SDCC2025, in case you didn't know what year we were in, for an exclusive discount. So with that, I would like to open it up to my wonderful audience if you have questions, comments, concerns, and deep fears that you might want to share. And I would like for you to shout your answer or your questions real loud so we can hear it. You had your hand up.
So my question is, so in Monsters Odd Attack from the early 2000s, the actual suit runner of Babylon was a woman.
Yeah.
And if anyone has ever seen the video, it's really adorable.
It is the cutest video. It's so good. We should have included it. It's so good.
Yeah, so for me, I've always considered that.
Yeah.
Female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, who had the next question? Yes.
You guys have already talked a lot about Mothra, but again, could you guys talk about the duality of Mothra and Batra, kind of as it pertains to this panel?
Well, I'll say one of the interesting things there is, it goes back, if you've seen, it goes back into prehistoric times. It goes back way back into history, where you learn that something that was created to do good, Batra, just continues and goes until, to destroy these Earthsurpers, but then pretty soon was destroying humanity. So this alien race had to create Mothra. This is a new origin, in order to stop Batra from destroying humanity. But what's interesting is then they're both kind of like gone and hibernating for millions of years, and then they both wake up and battle. But then, again, Mothra's superpower with Godzilla or others is to say, hey, let's diffuse the conflict here and let's be friends. And so they both end up teaming up to save Godzilla. And I think there's a message for the war between the sexes a little bit there. Can't we all get along, if we really work? And especially if the males, like Batra, will listen to the females, right? That we could learn to get along. I don't know if that.
So I think what we've learned today is that the kaijus are all the most important characters in this entire universe, and Godzilla is just the kind of the guy hanging behind them, that they're really in the forefront. Even though some of them are really scary, some of them I don't ever want to see in the back of the, back alley or anything. We've learned that they're an important part of the universe, and I think that's important for us to know about. I appreciate my panelists being here. I appreciate you guys. I know it's Sunday. And on that set of unfortunate news, we're going to end our panel, but say thank you for coming this year. I hope you all have had a wonderful Comic-Con. We will be hanging around if you have questions or want to talk to us or pick our brains about it. But thank you so much, and we'll see you for a couple more hours on the show floor.